All right, who did this? Welcome to Time Out with PC. Thank you for joining me today. We've got a great subject called It's Not My Fault. So I don't know if you're trying to cope with other people's blame or you're just trying to deal with your own. But our one view is that there's two kinds of people in the world, the ones who get what they want and the ones who don't, the haves and the have-nots, the winners and the losers. But the sad thing is that some people feel they're stuck in the wrong group and they can never get out of it as long, for the rest of their life. In reality, it's really not that black and white, because we all have areas in our lives that are working, but then we also have areas in our life where we feel stuck. And while winners and losers are the basic two subgroups, there are two other types that will tell you whether you're going to really get what you want out of life. And those are the people who take responsibility for their own life or those who don't. So we live in a culture of blame. Well, that's why we're calling it It's Not My Fault. People will blame anything or anyone on their own misery sooner than taking responsibility to own it and to figure out how they can make their way out of a place where they're stuck. So blame has become like institutionalized. It's in the government, it's in the legislature, it's in the courts, it's in the schools. It pervades our society, and it's also in psychology as well as medical practices. People use blame, and the result is that there's a lot more miserable people, but they have found someone or something to put the blame on. Now, blame has nothing to do with solving problems. As long as you think or act like there's nothing you can do about the situation you find yourself in or whatever you're struggling with, you're going to remain stuck. But you probably know or have known people who always have an excuse for everything. I know some people like that. They never take ownership for what they could do to make their situation better. Now, if you've known such people, you know the frustration of trying to help people who are always negative, who will not take responsibility. But one of the most important ingredients for overcoming is the ability to take responsibility for your own life. So if you're willing to do what winners do in that area of your life where you're stuck, then your future will look completely different. Now, taking responsibility for your life doesn't mean that you caused it or it's your fault, but because you find yourself in that situation, then you're willing to put your arms around it and say, okay, I'm going to do something about the situation that I find myself in. So taking ownership makes it better. Sometimes it takes more than willingness, though. Sometimes we need education, information, guidance, resources to be able to find our way out of a difficult situation. But just knowing what the next steps are sometimes can make all the difference. So, for example, maybe you're in a relationship with someone and they really are to blame. They really are hard to get along with. It's really the other person's fault, right? But learning what responsible steps to take, by getting the information and the resources you need can change a relationship and even turn the other person around. Now, where depression or anxiety or symptoms of abuse, people who've been through trauma or bad treatment from others, you can change a situation that you did not cause, whether it involves a clinical issue like depression, anxiety, or addiction, or a relational problem that has to do with your marriage or dating or a career that just can't get off the ground. If you're willing to take responsibility for what you can do, you can change your focus from what you cannot control to you can improve your situation whatever it might be, and solve the problem. Now, God designed you to be able to do that, and He will empower you to bring it about. So we're going to continue this subject of It's Not My Fault, but you're going to be able to discover that responsibility is not a negative word. No, to the contrary, but it might be the one missing piece in your quest to realize your dreams and desires. So what do you think? Is it your fault or is it somebody else's? I don't know who did it.